Hello, you wonderful history students. I will be your professor for today, Professor Scense. That's right, Professor Scense. Y'all heard me. Now listen. Today, we going back in time. And we going to learn some shit that they didn't teach in school. 30 historical facts people don't like talking about. But first, the legal shit. Now, y'all already know I ain't reading this shit. You already know this. Okay? So, I suggest you read it because I ain't doing it. This video is being used for educational purposes. Maybe a little bit pettiness. Probably a little, most likely a little bit. You know what? Y'all know I'm petty. God damn it. Let's go.
I'd probably take her.
YK, that's all gold. Big rings, that's all gold.
Man, I'm done playing with these niggas, man, for real.
YK, that's all gold. Big rings, that's all gold.
I swear I gotta get to the bag. Shit.
So the caption says, for one reason or another, these uncomfortable historical facts don't get talked about nearly enough. Maybe it's because it's a history that isn't often taught. Maybe it was too awful to discuss, or maybe it's just kind of got lost over time. Either way, it still happened, and we're here to talk about it. Number 1. The Second Congo War was the deadliest conflict since World War II. With over 5 million people killed, most people have never heard of it, despite it ending less than 20 years ago. Did y'all hear that? Over 5 million people killed. And we're not hearing about it. But I know y'all heard that it was also the Second Congo War. And, child, y'all know America ain't promoting it. Anyway, moving on. Number 2. Between the 1930s and the 1970s, about 1/3 of the female population of Puerto Rico was sterilized. 1/3 of the female population of Puerto Rico was sterilized. Once again, we have Puerto Rico, we have females. And we're not hearing about it. Let me repeat that. We have Puerto Rico, we have female. Y'all already know America on some bullshit. Okay? This is not in your history books because to America, the Puerto Ricans and the women are not important enough. Moving on. Number 3. During the Battle of Waterloo, one of the most treasured pieces of loot was the teeth of the deceased soldiers. 200 years ago, it was rather common to use the teeth of dead people in the creation of dentures. So, this makes me wonder. Were they using the teeth of people who already died? Or were they getting these teeth of dead people through other means? Number 4. 45 BC was the longest year in history with 445 days. The Romans previously allowed the Senate to control the calendar, and they'd use that to expand their own terms or contract other terms as they could. Basically, the calendar got super messed up, so they had an extra long year to correct it, so that summer lined up with the actual summer, etc. Oh, child, they done fucked up the calendar. Listen, I don't know about y'all, okay? But if we had a year with 445, listen, we already rooting for every new year because the last year was shitty. We don't need no more days added on to it. Next. Number 5. The history of West Virginia coal miners and the Civil War that it brought about. Now, you can see over here, the white soldiers are, standing there free. And here's the black soldier in chains. Okay. How in the entire fuck are you going to chain up somebody who is fighting for your decrepit ass? You know what? I'm going to move on to the next one before I get ignorant. Number 6. The emergency powers granted after 9/11 are still being renewed. 2001. It is now 2022, 11 years later. These powers are still being renewed. So either they're upgrading or constantly upgrading, constantly making improvements, or they ain't got their shit together in 11 years. Number 7. During the during the Nuremberg trials post-World War II, head of the Nazi Navy and head of state after Hitler's death, Karl Donitz, was charged with war crimes involving his use of unrestricted submarine warfare and killing of unarmed civilian ships. Donitz provided evidence that nearly all ships he attacked were in fact armed with anti-submarine weapons and radios, and also a large amount of evidence that the United States committed the exact same war crimes against the Japanese. Due to this, the charges were dropped, and he served only 10 years in prison before being set free. You know, they say history repeats itself. Sounds kind of like what's going on now, right? U.S. putting sanctions on Russia for doing the same shit that the U.S. has done. I mean, think about it. How was America acquired? Anyway, on to the next one. Number 8. The reason Egyptian mummies are so rare is because we used to eat them or turn them into medicine. What? In the entire fuck? We used to eat them or turn them into You know what? Y'all's ancestors was nasty. Talking about we was not involved in the eating of the mummies. Okay? That was them. We ain't do that shit. Number 9. Comfort women during World War II. The Japanese military kidnapped them from the Asian countries they invaded and forced those women to be sex slaves to please countless Japanese soldiers. Okay, the Japanese military kidnapped these women and forced them to be sex slaves for the Japanese soldiers. They need their dicks cut off. Period. Let's go on to the next one. Number 10. Marcus Licinius Crassus Oh my goodness. Okay, look. Now, y'all know there's a difference between my eyes and my mouth, and they don't always cooperate with each other. So I might have said that shit wrong. Anyway, that person revived decimation after a series of lost battles. He had every 10th soldier of his legions killed in order to boost the morale of the others. Okay, so he had every 10th soldier of his own legions killed to boost the morale of the others. I don't know what to say. You Dracula, Dracul motherfucker, you. You know what? You in modern days, KRS-One done made a song about motherfuckers like you. It's called Black Cop. Go listen to it. Now listen, I know they wasn't black, but y'all get the reference. Number 11. King Leopold II of Belgium was an all-around awful person. And what he got up to in Africa is not for the faint of heart or weak of stomach. I know y'all saw them kids with their hands chopped off, right? I'm thinking Leopold maybe needed his head chopped off. Let's go to the next one. Number 12. America has been involved in more than 100 wars in the last 200 years. And you know what? Most of those wars ain't had shit to do with America. We need to stop sticking our noses in other people's business. Okay? And then we won't get into shit that we ain't meant to get into. Most of them motherfuckers ain't want us over there in the first. Anyway, they ain't asked for our help. They was glad to get us the fuck out of there. All right, next one. Number 13. One of the biggest proponents for prohibition were suffragists who found a correlation between alcohol consumption and domestic violence. And the sign says, "Fight on, and God will give the victory." Yes, I was able to read that through their heads because I'm good like that. Now, I know I said my eyes and my mouth don't always get along, but baby, the intuition is wonderful. The intuition get along with the mouth all day. Okay? All right. Now, this correlation between alcohol and domestic violence, that's, common sense. So we just going to go on to the next one. Number 14. In the Stone Age, when people would kill a bear, the first thing they do is rip open its stomach to eat the meat the bear had consumed before being killed. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a rud. I don't want to eat on nothing that anybody or anything else has already ate on. That is disgusting. Almost made me throw up. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Hurry up. Okay, child, I had to pause for a little bit because that last one was a little nasty. When I said it almost made me throw up, it really did almost make me throw up. I had to chill for a minute. But we back. So, number 15. Sweden sterilized / castrated some 300,000, probably more, disabled individuals, sometimes as early as childhood, from the 1930s to the 1970s. It's a goddamn shame how people used to throw away people, basically, because that's basically what it is. It's a goddamn shame how people used to throw away people just because they were disabled. I mean, are you serious? Like, now the disabled are a protective class. But back then, they could just sterilize and castrate them all willing. Are you serious? Disability is not This is pissing me off. Let's go on to the next one. Number 16. Hobby Lobby funded terrorism. Oh my goodness. This just keeps getting worse and worse, don't it? All right. Hobby Lobby founded terrorism through the trade of looted artifacts for the Museum of the Bible. Oh my. Okay. All right. This money went to ISIS, which acquired the art and relics from the Museum of Baghdad. You bitch. You know what? See, now listen, I believe in God. I really do. But these organized religion motherfuckers, okay? They can bend over and kiss my entire ass for shit like this right here. Moving on to the next one. Number 17. The English government supported terrorism against Catholics in Northern Ireland. England, sweetie, aren't you mostly Catholic? I could be wrong, but aren't you mostly Catholic? Roman Catholic? I'm a little confused, confused, and discombobulated. Let's go on to the next one, child. Number 18. President George Washington is often mistaken for having wooden teeth. Pretty disgusting. What's correct is he had dentures, but made of slaves' teeth. Ooh. Okay, see, now that goes and answers the question of when they made the dentures before. Did they make them from the people that was already dead, or did they kill the people? George Washington can suck a dick. Period. Let's go. Next one. Number 19. The entry hole in the rear of JFK's head was measured by Dr. Pierre Fink, the only ballistics expert of any note whatsoever to examine his remains. As smaller than the caliber of bullet Lee Harvey Oswald was supposed to have fired. Okay, let me just run that back, okay? The bullet hole was smaller than the bullets that Lee Harvey Oswald was supposed to have in the gun. Now, there's been conspiracies that Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do that shit. This right here makes that not so much of a conspiracy, right? Next. Number 20. For Americans, at least, the Dole Fruit Company was basically responsible for more overthrown government than the CIA or KGB. Think about that next time you're eating some pineapples or bananas. Okay, so Dole. The Dole, the fruits, the fruit, the banana, the apples and bananas. Okay? Those people were responsible for more overthrown government than the CIA or the KGB. And we just finding out about this now. For why? Because I'm telling you right now, them motherfuckers would have been canceled. Anyway, number 21. 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. That looked tragic. Horrible. Oh my God. The Tulsa Race they're calling it the Tulsa Race Massacre. I truly believe if these motherfuckers could get away with that bullshit today, they would try. They would. Let's go on to the next one. Number 22. How France has won most battles in military history. But, shh. Let everyone make the ha-ha France surrenders jokes. Okay, so apparently France has won more military battles than they're given credit for. And everybody likes to make fun of them because they say France surrenders. Maybe that's why they're making fun of France, saying that, they surrendered when they surrendered. Because, listen. I got Creole on both sides of my family, okay? Which means I got French in my blood. So when I say this, don't nobody come for me, all right? But y'all know how ignorant them French motherfuckers can get. I'm just saying. It might just be, you surrendered because they was being assholes when they won. I said it. Want me to say it again? It might just be they got the when they surrendered because they was being assholes when they won. Number 23. In ancient Egypt, if a beautiful woman died, they would leave their bodies out to rot for a few days. So the fellas mummifying them wouldn't, do it with their dead bodies. Oh, I'm getting sick again. Okay, wait a minute. Not sure if someone's already said this, but there you go. Yeah, that is a piece of history that I did not need to know. I could have went my entire life without knowing that shit. You know what, Mr. or Miss, I don't know what I'm doing, okay? In case you ever see this video, or in case anybody knows Mr. or Miss, I don't know what I'm doing. Since you told me that fact, I want you to know, a pig's orgasm lasts anywhere between 60 to 90 minutes. Okay? All right. See, you tell me some dumb shit, I tell you some dumb shit. It's all true. But yet and still, you gonna be petty and tell me this shit, I'm gonna be petty and tell you that shit. All right? All right. Number 24. Anne Frank, Martin Luther King Jr., and Barbara Walters were all born the same year, 1929. Yet everyone thinks of them in completely different timelines/decades. Now that, my friends, is interesting. That is very interesting. I thought they were all born different decades. I really did. I know y'all did. Listen, this is something y'all can go tell your friends, okay? Yeah, go tell everybody. Sounds smart. Number 25. Elon Musk didn't found PayPal or Tesla, and he's made no significant intellectual contribution to any field of programming or engineering. My dogs are fighting. Chill. I know it's recent history, but still, not enough people want to talk about it. Okay, so let me get this straight. The man who speaks one word and changes the entire stock market. We putting this in perspective. Let me say that again. The man who says one word and changes the entire stock market has done nothing significant for PayPal or Tesla, which everybody seems to think that he came up with. Everybody seems to think that he is the brains behind these operations, and he's just the face. I can't even say he a pretty face. He just the face. He a whole muppet. Number 26. Mount Rushmore being built on land that was promised to never be touched by U.S. government. What the hell else is there? They slaughtered the native people they promised that to, and then carved the faces of that very U.S. government into the mountainside. Pretty sickening. Oh, dear America. Oh, dear ancestors of America. I'm glad you're dead. Moving on. Number 27. Oklahoma banning whaling was actually very helpful to whaling becoming illegal. Anyone who's heard of it hears it as one of the pointless state laws. That doesn't sound so pointless to me. I'm just saying, I mean, if you're going to save the whales, wouldn't it be important to stop the whaling? Ban the whaling? Just saying. Number 28. Napoleon was average height for the time. Now, this could be taken a few ways, 1. Napoleon was average height for the time, which means that short men are not the ones with the Napoleon complex. It's the average height men that are the ones with the Napoleon complex. Or men were just short back then. I don't know. Whichever one you want to run with. They didn't elaborate. So I don't know. You pick one. Number 29. A majority of countries have committed some form of atrocity or human rights violation. Baby, that's something we already know. All right? We see that shit going on right now. That's all I'm going to say on it. Let's go to the last one. Number 30. Edgar Allan Poe married his 13-year-old cousin when he was in his 20s. So, Edgar Allan Poe and Jerry Lee Lewis have something in common. I'm going to leave that right there. Well, that is all 30 historical facts that people don't like talking about that we just talked about today. Okay? Some of them motherfuckers I wish I had not talked about. Some of them motherfuckers I wish I still didn't know. Some of them motherfuckers is quite useful information. Some of them motherfuckers not useful but still interesting. I don't know. What's your thoughts? And I'll see y'all next Wednesday with another reaction. Oh, you made it to the end of the video. Okay, well, while you're here, listen, let me tell you something. I have a podcast. It's called Asylum Tales. And if you like horror stories, if you like thrillers, if you like creepypastas, if you like the Reddit no sleeps, things like that, then you will thoroughly enjoy this podcast. I will leave the links below on where you can find it over on Anchor, where you can then listen to it on Castbox, Spotify, or your favorite RSS. Or if YouTube is your thing, you can go hit my Asylum Tales playlist. And whether you are here in the premiere or on the replay, I thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all. And I love y'all. I really, really do. Until next week, that's just my 5 cents. And I'm out. Peace.
It probably take her.
YK, that's all gold. Big rings, that's all gold.
Man, I'm done playing with these niggas, man, for real.
YK, that's all gold. Big rings, that's all gold.